Welcome back to JT on the Go. This is part 4 of my 4-part series about the National World War II Museum in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 3, I recommend watching all of them in chronological order. In part 4, we will talk about everything that happened after World War II that had an effect on future historical events. World War II is finally over and it feels good to be back at home. However, when the Soviets found out about the US atomic bomb, they grew suspicious of its power. While World War II ended, another began. This became known as the Cold War, a 45-year arms race of nuclear weapons between the United States and the Soviet Union until December 3, 1989. Back in Germany, the Nuremberg trials was when Nazi officers were tried for their war crimes, most notably the Holocaust. Several killed themselves before they got to trial. Others fled to South America where they hid for years. Remember when I said Germany was blamed for World War I? They were also blamed for World War II. They paid reparations until 1995. Germany was also occupied in fourths, each occupied by the Allies. Britain, France, the United States, and the Soviet Union all had control over a fourth of Germany. In May of 1949, the Federal Democratic Republic of Germany was created in West Germany in blue. In October of 1949, the German Democratic Republic was established in Eastern Germany in red. This will lead to the Iron Curtain, which is an impassable border between West and East Germany, established by the Soviet Union to restrict trade with West Germany. But in Soviet territory, Berlin was no exception, because Berlin is Germany's capital. The US, Britain, and France occupied West Berlin, and the Soviets occupied East Berlin. The Soviet Union did not want the locals of East Germany leaving, so this led to the creation of the Berlin Wall. Germany wouldn't be fully reunified until 1990. After World War II, the United Nations was founded to maintain peace and security, and to also prevent future wars. By 1945, there were 51 countries. By the present day, the United Nations consisted of 193 of the 195 countries in the world. Europe had a lot of destruction left behind from World War II. So President Truman introduced the Marshall Plan, which was a program that provided economic assistance to countries in Western Europe to help them rebuild. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, was also created to provide collective security against the Soviet Union and to contain the spread of communism. West Germany was included in NATO. The Soviet Union responded by creating the Warsaw Pact, which was an Eastern European country established as a satellite state under the Soviet Union. This included Poland, Albania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Eastern Germany. The Marshall Plan only applied to Western Europe. The Soviets extracted resources in Eastern Europe as war reparations, making the economy in those areas less competitive than the economy in Western Germany. As for Japan, the United States got what they wanted. They were the only ones that occupied Japan. General MacArthur oversaw the reconstruction of Japan. Japan was also destroyed during World War II, most notably the atomic bomb. The United States ended occupation of Japan in 1952. While Japan was not occupied by two victorious countries, Korea was. Korea was freed from Japanese control after World War II. North Korea was occupied by the Soviet Union. South Korea was occupied by the United States. The 38th parallel divided the country in half and created the present-day North and South Korea. North Korea was communist, while South Korea was capitalist. Both did not accept the border between them as permanent after Soviet and American troops withdrew. These tensions would start the Korean War. Back at home, the Japanese Americans that were held in concentration camps were freed, and all they were given was a train ticket to wherever they were heading to, but many did not have a home or a job to return to. Post-war prejudice made finding work difficult for them. It's very sad. But Japanese Americans were not alone in the fight for equality. In the 1950s and 60s, the civil rights movement reached its peaks. Even after several landmark Supreme Court cases, there were still ways to go until segregation of African Americans ended. There is only one race out there, and that's the human race. One German scientist named Werner von Braun happened to approach the US directly. The US was eager to recruit smart German scientists before the Soviet Union got the chance. This was known as Operation Paperclip. The United States brought over 1,500 German scientists to the US from 1945 to 1962. At first, this wasn't made public, but as more German scientists began popping up all over the place, the US government made the decision to make Operation Paperclip public in an attempt to get ahead of any controversy. This was criticized by Eleanor Roosevelt, FDR's wife, Albert Einstein, the NAACP, and several veteran organizations. Werner von Braun's skills would be largely realized during the height of the space race. Without him, the Saturn V as we know it today would not have existed. Other recruits under Operation Paperclip were involved in the creation of chemical weapons, pharmaceutical research, and development of the modern-day airplane. All these accomplishments helped the US prove to people that Operation Paperclip is a success. The aftermath of World War II positioned the US as a world power, the only country with military bases all over the world. If you enjoyed this series, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow my Instagram account for more JT on the Go content. This is JT on the Go signing off.